Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we'll walk through the complete Shopify authentication process for WooCommerce to Shopify Sync. We'll see how to create a Shopify custom app, configure the required API permissions, generate the client ID and client secret, and connect the Shopify store with the WooCommerce integration plugin. So, let's get started. First, let's move to the WordPress dashboard. Here, I have already installed and activated the required plugins required for this integration. That includes WooCommerce and WooCommerce to Shopify Sync plugin. Now open the WooCommerce to Shopify Sync settings page. Inside the authentication section, we can see the fields for client ID and client secret. To generate these credentials, we need to create a custom application inside Shopify. So, let's move to the Shopify admin dashboard. Inside Shopify admin, go to settings located at the bottom left corner of the dashboard. Now open Apps and Sales Channels. From here, click Develop Apps. Then continue to build apps in Dev Dashboard. You can also access the developer dashboard directly from the Profile section at the top right corner. Now we are inside the Shopify developer dashboard. Here, click Create App. Now enter the required application details. In the app name field, enter a recognizable name for the integration. For example, WooCommerce Sync. Next, enter the app URL. This URL is used during the authentication process after installing the application. Click Create. Once the application is created successfully, the next step is to configure the admin API scopes, also known as permissions. These permissions determine what type of store data the application can access or modify. Inside the application settings, locate the Scope section. Now enable the required permissions for your integration. Typically, this includes read and write products, read and write orders, read and write customers, and read and write inventory. Depending on your integration requirements, additional permissions can also be enabled if necessary. In this section, you can also configure redirect URLs. Redirect URLs specify trusted destinations Shopify can use during the authentication process. After selecting the required scopes and configurations, click Done. In this section, you can also configure redirect URLs. Redirect URLs specify trusted destinations Shopify can use during the authentication process. After selecting the required scopes and configurations, click Save or release this version to apply the changes. Next, install the custom app in your Shopify store. Installing the application is important because it activates API access and allows secure communication between Shopify and the WooCommerce integration plugin. Once the installation process is completed successfully, we can proceed to retrieve the application credentials. The client secret is a private authentication key used to securely verify the identity of the application. These credentials are required to establish secure communication between Shopify and external integrations. Now copy the client ID, then copy the client secret. Now let's move back to the WordPress dashboard. Open the WooCommerce to Shopify Sync plugin settings page. Inside the authentication section, enter the client ID and client secret generated from the Shopify custom app. After entering the credentials, click Authenticate or Save Settings to complete the connection process. Once the authentication is completed successfully, your WooCommerce store will be securely connected with Shopify. You can now start syncing products, orders, customers, and inventory data between WooCommerce and Shopify. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.